Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to another Social Charity Chat Live. Oh,
Oh,
there we go. Sorry. And hope you are doing well on this lovely Saturday. If I sound a little bit different, I'm not changing my voice. I have slightly lost my voice due to the wonderful Halloween event that we have here in the US on the 31st. That's most people just hand out candy when their doorbell rings. At my house, it's a little bit different. There's been tradition here for 50 years, apparently. And we warn everyone when they move in that we host a Halloween event on our street, and we close the top and bottom of our streets, and we invite the children of the community. What we didn't realize we were also inviting was the tri-state area that we live in of Maryland, DC, and Virginia, and it grew to 2,500 children, 1,500 adults, 30 years after we moved here. So and it was a fun event. I'm going to share a few pictures of that. But before we get started, let us know where you're watching. If you're watching live or on replay, it's great to see Kenny and David Pushkin already in the show. Go ahead and repost it with your live audience so that they know that we're going on live right now, because not everyone that you're connected with, we're connected with. And the reason for my voice is because I am the town werewolf for Halloween. So I did a lot of screaming, growling, scaring, and this is the result of it. So, but before we dive into anything, let's do some introductions with the amazing co-hosts that I have here, Martha and Joel, and we might have some others joining us a little bit later. There is a time change that varies. If y'all don't know, our time change happens tonight, whereas the UK's time change already happened. So when we try to schedule events, we're off by an hour now, plus the 6 hour difference or 5 hour difference that we have. So, but let's go ahead and do some introductions, and then we'll get the show started. Joel, I'm going to hand the mic over to you, my friend, and then you can hand it over to Martha.
Hey everyone, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joel, and for those of you who do know me, I'm sorry. I am I am a entrepreneur. I help I'm helping change the way the world sees neurodiversity, and through my passions of creativity, music is my jam, and other things as well, but mostly music. And looking to connect with other people to help spread the message, and why neurodiversity is so important within the world. And my fun fact today, if we're still doing that, Felipe, are we still doing fun facts?
Go ahead, because I'm going to share a fun fact. You might as well.
Okay. Um, my fun fact is I have finally finished after several. It seemed like a lifetime of. I have finally finished my band's first album, which will be due to release next year, hopefully. If all goes well, more to the point, if I can actually afford it. And uh, over to Martha.
Thank you, Joel. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday evening or night. Um, I am. Oh, Teddy just is digging behind me now. um, I am a human being, humanitarian at heart. I love working with our undeserved. Our poverty. Sorry, guys. My Teddy is digging. Um, Poverty populations are homeless, unhoused. That's my jam. I would love to connect with anyone in either a nonprofit or volunteers to connect and create initiatives together to support one another. So feel free to reach out to me. And a fun fact for Halloween, I got to hang out just with Teddy because my teenager ditched me and hanged out with all his friends. So, yeah, I was like, okay, this is so not fun. But Teddy and I had a good time. We walked around, we got to see all the costumes. And yeah, I got to celebrate with Teddy Halloween yesterday. Pass it over to you, Felipe.
Thank you, Martha. Well, I will say that, yeah, I remember that period where the teenagers were like, "We're going out with our friends." I'm like, "What do you mean? It's Halloween. You always spend Halloween with us." They're like, "No, our friends, we're going out for a party." I'm like, "Oh," and then they come back. And so mine came back last night. But for those of you who have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Felipe Cofiño. I'm a HR executive, a LinkedIn top voice, most recently a current author of Miranda and Max. And Brady and Lucky, the one-eyed cat, is currently in the works. Um, and that can be found on Amazon in case you want to buy it. And I am also a LinkedIn enthusiast who enjoys coming on here every Saturday with this amazing crew here to co-host with them Social Saturday Chat every week. I also do co-host Workplace Wellness Hour with Sumana Jetty and Ashley Fluellen, and I co-host the Careers, Chaos, and Coaching, which is happening tomorrow with Melissa Houston. So I do enjoy LinkedIn, but I also enjoy giving back a lot, like Martha and Joel and Mac and everybody else. A big part of the reason why we do what we do is because we like to give back. People have helped us, maybe, or we've been inspired, or there's a story behind the reason why we do what we do. But at the end of the day, it comes down to giving back. So we hope that what we do here helps you all in some small way, that you have a takeaway or something that you can use to help somebody else. So, with that being said, my fun fact is, as I mentioned earlier, that I do Halloween. We do the whole block, and people decorate more for Halloween than they do for Christmas. Just to give you a little snippet, and this does not do it justice. I'm just telling you all right now. But here's a little snippet. First of all, this here is me and my son. Now, usually I blacken out my eyes. I didn't there. But behind me is my son, who normally is a wolf to help out scare people, but he got a costume that made him, no lie, 9 feet tall. He's at the bottom of a hill, small hill there, so you can't tell. Everyone thought he wasn't real. I had to keep on telling him, dude, move, do something, because people don't think you're real. And when they move, crowds would come around him to see if he was real or in an animatronic. It was a very intimidating costume. This here just shows you a little bit of that's the entrance to my maze there. It doesn't do it justice. Here is a house across the street. Here's another house across the street. And this shows you a little bit of the crowd. You can really see them further down. This is early on, and we are just starting to really get busy here. And you can see that the streets do fill up. Also, you'll see here, this is me posing by one of these strobe lights that we have. The fog machine wasn't going off like I wanted it to, but it gives you an idea of what I'm doing there. This here is not, again, before anybody showed up, I was getting some pictures. There's a chair behind me where I sit down, and there's an animated wolf next to me. When I just tug on it, it goes off and starts moving and making noise. I make myself look like a dummy in that chair. So I'm all like laid out like a fake werewolf, and I just jump up and scare the crap out of people. Hence my voice. And then this is a shot of the house before we were just cleaning up. Here, I would be remiss if I didn't show you that Copper still loved me even though I was a wolf. Copper does not get scared at all. We even had our Chihuahua, my niece's Chihuahua, come by through the line of hundreds of people. And most people were like looking at me. The Chihuahua ran up to me and recognized me or smelled me. I don't know. It was pretty funny. And as we kick off this wonderful discussion around AI, you all, I just want to show you that as passionate as I am around Halloween, I'm not going to go crazy on AI, but when I was talking about it, I used AI. And here's a sample. Looks pretty realistic there, doesn't it? It's kind of a little scary there. So let's get back over here. So that's a little bit of Halloween and a fun fact about me. Now, today we came here to talk about how AI can help you with your personal brand and with your health, or I'm sorry, your career search. And I'm going to throw in your health as well, because your health, we talk about that a lot, and I think it's important. So I'm going to dive into Felipe's Pod. Before we do that, I just wanted to welcome some people that came in. Lark, I know Lark is with family right now, so she's in the chat. It's great to see you there. Leanna, thank you for joining us. Dr. Kathy, we appreciate you coming from Houston. Salim, thanks for joining us. Meryl, always a pleasure. Master Connectors here in the house. Jihan, my wonderful friend in Dallas, it's great to see you. And I can't wait to talk to you more about all the great work you're doing. If you're not following Jihan, check her out. And William Rochelle is watching on YouTube. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate your support as always. And Kenny, always appreciate you. Why did I not know you were from Sugarland? I know you're from Texas. I just didn't know you're from Sugarland. And then my wonderful co-host, Melissa Houston. Can't wait to see her tomorrow as we do our show. And Joe Caruso. I was just literally in Joe Caruso's town a few weeks ago. My daughter's getting married in his town. Nick, my publisher of ICE, and is it Chalibri? Forgive me if I chopped your name, but so thank you everyone for joining us. We're going to dive into the topic, and then we're going to invite you all up to ask questions, share your insights or stories. But real quick, I have some of Felipe's 5 here I'm going to share with you all. So let's dive into it. All right, real quick. So for Felipe's 5, I'm just talking about 5 things quickly, and hopefully you can have at least one takeaway that you found helpful. All right. The first one here is using AI, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Copilot, Gemini, whatever you use. Make sure that you obviously are using something that's reputable, because there are some fake versions out there, and they might be just trying to steal your data. Now, here is the first thing: automate the ordinary to protect the extraordinary. And what I mean by that is find something simple that is not anything that you feel is totally private, to help you simplify, automate, whatever it is, so that you can spend time on things more important. I'll give you some examples: routine tasks, note taking. This frees up your stress, but also something as simple as go to your pantry and use the voice notes. If you don't want to type, or if you'd rather type, you can type. Go to your pantry and read off everything you have in there. Literally everything on the shelf, just read it off. And then go to your refrigerator, do the same thing. And then once you have all that in ChatGPT or whatever system, say, take everything I listed and give me 5 or 10 recommendations for recipes and meals for the next 5 to 10 days. I did that for my wife. My wife usually would spend like 2 hours meal planning, and she did it in like 10 minutes. She came up with, they gave her recipes that she hadn't thought of. And guess what? She was then able to focus on doing some of the physical therapy that she needed, because she had a knee issue that she said she didn't have time for. She actually went for a walk, and normally she wouldn't have had time for that. So it's a very simple example, but I just want you to realize that your health is more important. And if you're spending all your time meal planning and you're not doing anything else for your health, it's not going to be enough. All right. So the next one here, real quick, is personalize your wellness. Don't generalize it. All right. So what I mean by that is, AI is great for your brand. AI is going to help you to promote your brand. That logo at the bottom of the screen, F5, you all know that I talk about Felipe's 5 all the time. I've been talking about Felipe's 5 since I was college recruiting in my 20s for high-end hotels. It has not been something I just came up with recently. But with AI and the help of Canva, I was able to come up with some logos that actually I liked, and that's the logo I use now for Felipe's 5. So it's helping me promote my brand. It's helped me save time and create things that I normally would not have spent time on because I didn't have the talent. So there's so much that you can do, but you can also, if you're like, oh, I have time now, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, say, hey, I have 20 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day now. What are some simple exercise routines that I could do for someone who hasn't exercised in years? And it'll give you, and it'll say, and I can only exercise in the morning. I can only exercise in the morning. I only can exercise for like 10 minutes in the evenings. I have half hour during lunch where I could probably exercise. And I don't like running, and I don't like Stairmasters. Boom. It will give you the most personalized thing. They're actually making commercials for ChatGPT about that exact example. All right. The next one here is transform data into insight, not overload. And simply what I mean by this is that you could get lost in that deep well. We were just talking. Oh, we had someone join us. I'm sorry. We had Martha just sharing with us that she was doom scrolling before the show, and she almost missed the show, beginning of the show. We've all been there. We've all been doom scrolling. We get lost in the social media. Same thing with ChatGPT. You can get lost in the data. You can keep on asking it for data and more data and more data and just get overloaded and feel like, oh my God, it's too much. Take it in little snippets. Take data you learn, and then how are you going to use that data? Don't keep on looking for more data, because then it's going to get overwhelming. So it's very easy to get overwhelmed, but take it one step at a time. All right, the next one is guardrails. Use AI ethically, use it responsibly. AI is still learning, you all. AI is consistently still learning on things. It's not mastered itself. So it's up to you to make sure that you use it ethically and responsibly. I'm going to assume that you all know what that means. I don't need to go into that, but I think it's an important reminder. All right, and then real quick, empower the human connection, not replace it. And what I mean by that is, don't make AI your best friend. You now have more time. Use it to connect with humans, friends, people, loved ones, your community, your work co-workers. This is something that is so important, because we always worry about AI replacing us. Well, if you let it do everything for you and even interact for you, it's going to replace you. And there are 5 things I wanted to share, and I didn't share them here on the slides. I'm going to put the last slide up because it just recaps them real quick. But there are 5 things that AI I shouldn't say cannot replace, that is not able to replace right now, because they have not invested in it. And so those 5 things right now are curiosity. They have not invested any work or effort into AI for curiosity, for compassion, for courage, for creativity, and ironically, for communication. They have not invested a lot in it understanding the different forms of communication as well as they could from you, the individual. Other things that they are still working on is resilience, adaptability, failing fast, and learning fast. So these are skills that, if you have them or don't have them, are skills that you want to hone in on, because they are going to help you, because AI is not making it a priority today. So I'm going to shut up now because my voice is slowly going. Therman, it's great to see you, my friend. We'd love to hear everyone's insight on this topic. And as we, sorry, I'm trying to get back to the right slide here. As we talk about it up here with the group, we can invite you all to come up. I just want to recognize some people in the chat here that may have joined us since we started. We have May, thank you for joining us. LinkedIn user from Brazil, thank you. And LinkedIn user from Houston, thank you, but I don't know who you are. And so let us know in the chat who you are. Sean, thank you for coming. And who else did we have? I think that was it. Okay, so with that being said, Therman, please introduce yourself to everyone, let everyone know who you are and your thoughts on this topic, and then let's go to Martha and Joel while we invite some people up. But hello, my friend. How are you?
What's going on? You sound a little under the weather.
Oh, no. Oh, you missed the beginning part. This is the result of Halloween and me scaring everybody as a wolf for 3 hours for the 2,500 kids. So as I scream and scream and scream and yell, and then this is the result. So
Gotcha.
I feel good. I sound horrible.
Okay. Good deal. It came at a a cool cost, so that's what's up. I was worried about Halloween because I thought I went out to my neighborhood. I took the kids out and it was dead. So I thought that whole thing about everybody boycotting was gonna be like a real thing, but then as I walked up my street, then I saw more people outside and more active. However, it was way less than it normally is. So maybe there is a sentiment going around, like people are fed up feeding the economy and all this other stuff while things are going crazy. Story for another day. But
it was mildly less here. We noticed gaps where normally there was constant flow. We noticed some gaps, so it mild, but it was a little bit noticeable.
I gotcha. I am Therman Trotman, and I help people use SharePoint, and SharePoint is a Microsoft tool inside of the Microsoft 365 suite that you may or may not know about. If you know about it, you probably hate it. If you don't know about it, I'll tell you, it's Microsoft, one of Microsoft's best kept secret, in my opinion. Some of the things you could do is, get rid of your spreadsheets. Everybody hates spreadsheets, and it can put everything in your business under one roof. I'm not really scratching the surface about what it could do. I just wanted to point that out. So about this topic, interestingly enough, I have a house full of people right now, and last night the topic got on AI, and it wasn't a positive conversation. It was talking about, while all these cool things are happening, it's still kind of crazy what's really happening. But specifically for your personal brand and growing your career, I think it's a great tool. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, I'll replace the word great with necessary. At this point, it's no longer like, oh man, it's really good to know it, and it's like, you know, it's interesting. Like, it's none of that. Now it's mandatory. And what I mean, I'm saying this louder and more now, but I've been saying this since it first started happening. When ChatGPT first started becoming popular, because it's just like finance. Finance touches every single part of a business. It does not matter. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what department you're in. Finance touches it. You're going to have to spend some type of money. People are going to have to get paid. There's projects that need to be funded. You cannot do something inside of a business and it not be tied to finances somehow. This is the same thing with AI. There's absolutely no way coming up here in the future that you're going to be doing anything with work and it not be tied to AI. Your career demands it. So maybe with finances, you might be the type that don't pay too much close attention to your finances, or you don't watch your investments or whatever, but you at least, take a look at your paycheck. You make sure that you're getting paid what you're supposed to. And if you miss a paycheck, if your job somehow, some way misses a paycheck, you're going to be up in arms about it because it's that important to you. You can't go your 2 weeks or every week or whatever you get paid without your money. That's a very big deal. That's how you live your life. The same thing with AI. It is absolutely positively going to be entrenched in every single part of work. So it's no longer, like I said, interesting or great or cool. It's mandatory. Now, I'm not saying you need to be some type of expert, but you absolutely need to be aware of what you're doing with it, so that when they come in the future and try to either replace you or try to, hire someone else who may or may not know AI plus your industry, you have some chops. You can show them that not only have you been showing them through, through your work, but you can prove that you know what you're doing and you have been doing this for a really long time. There's no more, I don't mess with that AI stuff. I mean, I'm in technology and you'll hear me say things like AI is foolishness, but there's no way I'm not gonna, get myself up to speed. And one last thing I'll say, this is kind of crazy to me. I was putting my daughter in college at the beginning of fall. We're talking to these colleges, and I'm like, hey, what's your AI program like? Do you have any AI programs? Zero. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of these colleges with no AI programs. And then I went to a HBCU, we call HBCU college fair with my son the other day, who's not in college yet. He's in 10th grade. And I'm going to these colleges and I'm like, hey, so, talking about everything else, but also like, finally, hey, do you have any AI programs? And they're all like, no. I think that's crazy. I think that's wild. Even if I guess you can't plan out a whole entire 4 years that you're going to base on AI, not just yet. I mean, I don't know. I think that's trivial, but anything to be like, we teach people how to use AI and here's like all the things we do. I thought it was mind blowing, but whatever. Colleges are usually, dragging their feet on this kind of stuff, but it is.
I know. I love that you brought that up because I purposely did not put a career thing in the Felipe 5 because I know people have questions about careers, and first of all, mind blowing because they'll have a course on Taylor Swift, which, don't get me wrong,
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they have courses on Taylor Swift, but it's actually more relevant than you would think. It's how Taylor Swift impacts the economies that she visits and tours in, which is a real thing. The economies in the cities that she tours in boost tremendously. So there's some logical value to that. The AI, you said at the very end that made me agree with you, because at first I'm like, yeah, why don't they? it's advancing too fast. They by the time they build it and teach it, it's already outdated. So,
Yeah.
but I will say this to your point, then we'll go to Joel, is think about this. Everyone think about your resume. You probably have Microsoft Office on your resume, right? I mean, why wouldn't you? Because everyone uses that. But slowly it changes to Microsoft Office and Google Suite would be on your resume. You know what? Right now, as a recruiter, if I don't see ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, something on your resume, it raises a red flag. I need someone who can work with relevant things. And to your point, we don't need someone to be an AI expert. I need someone that knows how to use it when they need to. If you don't, I
Right.
have to teach you how to use something as basic as AI because it basically teaches you how to use it. If you say, I don't, if you ask ChatGPT, how do I use ChatGPT? It will give you a step by step instruction on what to do. And the more you ask. So
Yeah.
it is becoming a requirement and it's not going to, it's already happened. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought
Facts.
that up. Joel, what are your thoughts about AI, personal brand, career growth, or anything else you might have used it with that's helped you with your business, maybe?
Well, AI is very useful to me because I do waffle a lot on the paper set. So if you imagine, Felipe, that that it's my words on paper are like a song which had no ending, and then you just have to fade out. Um, that was before AI, but AI now helps me now come to an actual clear, concise conclusion. Is what I want to say, not just in songs, but in all areas of my of my work really. And I've got Copilot and I've got ChatGPT. I just realized that Copilot came with Office, so I've now got two of the same thing.
But
Yes,
Joel,
yes.
you brought up such a huge, valuable point. Like, I know a lot of us have used it to like, oh, fix my grammar and spelling on this, make it sound more polished, and that's great. But I didn't even think about how it's helping. And I'm neurodiverse as far as like ADHD and anxiety, but for the people who have neurodiversities that want to articulate something, what a great tool is how it's helping them. I think it's such a huge thing that probably builds confidence and makes them feel empowered. I mean, that's a brilliant, brilliant point. I didn't even think about that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you know, it
It
also makes
also
me think.
helped me reword my CV as well, which you still got.
Say it again.
It also helped me reword my resume, which you still got.
I do. Nothing like just pulling the rug right out from underneath you there, Joel. Yes, yes, yes. Wait, I give you wait. I wait. In my defense, I did give you feedback, but I didn't give you full the
Yes,
full
but you
feedback.
said yes, but you gave me feedback on
Yeah, and
things
I'll give you more. Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
would
I
need
will. I will.
changing,
I will. All right.
which
Well,
needs.
hey, I talk about accountability. I am not going to be a hypocrite. I will.
Oh
You call me
man.
out. I owe you that. So fair enough. Next time, feel free to give me a call or DM. Don't do it on live if you don't want
I tried
to.
that and I got no answer.
But you know what? I'm going to do it today after this. You better believe it. All right. Well, so
Oh man.
yeah, you know what? That's the thing. Accountability. If you're wrong about something, own it. Own it. You ought to just. It takes longer to try to defend or recover from something than just own it. So thank you, Joel. But I was just saying with Martha. Stop smiling so much there, Thurman.
Oh man.
It was much joy out of this.
Oh man.
So Martha, one thing that made me think about AI as we're going to you was how we say, you know, it's easy for people to learn, easy for people to learn. Some people don't have the access. Some people don't have the confidence to be able to do it. They need some help. And that's very, very knowledgeable. That's very, very real. Ironically, the group that does not need the help the most are the senior citizens. Ironically, senior citizens are adapting to AI quicker than some females under the age of 28. That's a stat that I read recently that was shocking.
Wow.
They care that females under 28, main reason is the impact on the environment. That's their main reason. It's not because they don't know how to or don't want. It's really for more value mission reasons they're saying it for. So, but Martha, I'm thinking about how helping people figure out solutions to unique challenges, having AI help you come up with some plans for them to work on. You say you see people sometimes once a week, coming up with some ideas that they can work on and following up with them the next week saying, hey, how did it go? I just, off the top of my head, I was just thinking about how much value it could be for someone who's out there helping people come up with ideas. But over to you, my friend. What are your thoughts? I know AI is not everyone's cup of tea right off the back, but there are people here that have been using it for 2 years and people who have never even touched it yet.
Yeah, thank you so much, Felipe. You know, for me, with the team that I'm leading right now, we do use AI significantly, and I would say more like ChatGPT. A lot of the folks that I've trained on the team, and even that are not even on our team, um, basically, I've showed them how I take my notes. Of course, we don't put any identifiers of the person, such as name, date of birth, any vital information. But, like, for example, if I say I met Jane Doe at Lucky's, Safeway, HEB, I'm just kind of at the library, and we went over this, that, this, that. Well, ChatGPT will nicely organize it for you. You tell it how you want it to be organized. And I usually just put grammar and bullet points. And then the next person that will see that case will now be able to see what we worked on. And it has been a game changer because it keeps it nicely organized and professional so that anyone can follow the case. So that's how I used it with our team. And then away from that, with the programs that I'm creating away from that program, is I use it as basically I'll just get an idea in my head and I'll just say, how can I'll just basically write an idea and then ChatGPT will just put more details into it and then I'll just feed into that and then I'll say, okay, let me break this down, so that the user who I'm presenting this project to, it'll be easier for them to understand. So for example, recently I introduced a food program to an organization because of the food shortage, the SNAP benefits that's going away. So I broke down some ideas and then I just presented that and I used Chat GPT to help me organize it in a way so that I'm able to present it. Because if I do it with my own verbiage, it doesn't sound professional, and ChatGPT just kind of gives it that extra spice that I need on it.
Yeah, that I think that kind of plays into what Joel said about how he uses it now, but then also I want to say it's Avis or Avice. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Avis or Avice Charles Inglis in the chat, he said that he still writes his own stuff. It makes him feel more authentic. You can keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? You should continue to do that, especially if you enjoy writing and if you're pretty good at it. The thing that you want to do with ChatGPT is use surrounding things to support that. So, Martha, Chat AI in some way is not replacing what Martha does. Martha is still going to keep doing what she does. But you can go to ChatGPT, for instance, for ideation. So you can get ideas. Or you can write the thing that you want to write and then give it to ChatGPT and say, hey, listen, I've already wrote this. I like the way it sounds, but can you clean it up for me? You could do stuff like that. Or you can ask it for outlines because every writer knows about writer's block. You know what I'm saying? So if you're running in the writer's block, get outlines from your chat, your generative AI chat of choice. I'm saying Chat GPT because that's the one I use, but there's a ton out there that you can use. But just you don't have to take away the thing that you do, that you find yourself enjoying and that is fun and you're good at. Keep doing that. All you're asking ChatGPT to do is to help with the surrounding things, ideas, making it sound a little bit more professional or a little bit more laid back, or maybe you want to post it online. So you say, I want to, get a hook at the beginning of this, like whatever you could dream up when it comes to that type of stuff. Just ask the chat and see what you get.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Felipe.
No, go ahead, Martha. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to jump in what you just said, Thurman, because also you don't want to also depend on the program to do the work for you, because you need to test what you're going to be presenting. Like for me, I can't just present something without knowing how it works. So I love testing before I present, because then I know what's going to work and what's not. So just and then the verbiage, right? Because ChatGPT will repeat certain words. And then if you're presenting that to an audience who's aware of how the product works, right? Then they're going to say, oh, they just ChatGPT'd all that. And I've come across that many times. So make sure you make it yours. If you're feeding data into it, make sure that the data that it's coming back nicely crisp, that you're also putting in the words that sound like it's you. And that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a great point. 'Cause it does learn from you. And some points I wanted to highlight here, and we just to let everyone know, we got 20 minutes left, and the link to join us on stage is in the chat. Martha, you do have somebody who's asking specifically about what's inspired you and to do the work you do. If we have time, I want to get to that. But if not, I want to point it out so you can get back to them after the show in case we don't have a chance. But just to continue the AI, because there's some questions about AI here I want to get to first, is the formatting. Martha gave a great example about how she was coming up with ideas for them. But if she wanted to give them something, if you give somebody a bunch of ideas, like, oh, we tried these things, they're still going to be like, well, these are great ideas, but I don't know where to start. ChatGPT is going to save you the time to format it so you can start and discuss it with them and talk about how it best works for them, so that you're not trying to spend time figuring out how to do it. Let ChatGPT help you with those mundane ideas so you can spend more time having conversations to weed out the barriers that might pop up. Also, be careful with using it, like Martha said. People know. I know when people have used ChatGPT a lot of the time. Not all the time. Don't get me wrong. Because people know how to edit it to make it sound like themselves. There are certain words that ChatGPT is known for using over and over again. Like it's constantly throughout. There are the dashes that ChatGPT likes to put in there. Sometimes it likes to put in a lot of emojis. These are red flags that are going to question people. Are you using ChatGPT? So if you're not going in there and taking out those dashes and replacing it with a comma maybe, or if you're not going there and using the words that you've used, if the word says, oh, I thought this was elementary, if you've never in your life said the phrase, I think this is elementary, they're not going to think it's you. If you don't use certain words and it's using those words for you, go back and replace it. If you don't know what the word means, don't use it. Google it, find out, and use the word that you would use for that word. But these are things that it's going to learn that you prefer using something. This is awesome versus fantastic or whatever,
Right.
and it's going to start remembering that. And so when you do start, like when I write posts for like my show tomorrow, I said, here's the topic. It's tomorrow. Invite people to join us, and we're going to be sharing some concepts around this, and this. It now knows I didn't say Felipe or Melissa. I have its own project for careers, chaos, and coaching. It says join Felipe and Melissa on Sunday, and it knew what time, it knew what day. It remembers and it's going to learn from you. If you still think I sound too harsh, say, make me sound less harsh. Make me sound more warm, welcoming. Or if you need like an HR, I sound too nice. It makes it sound a little more stern. It helps me do that. So, but don't submit something that came straight from ChatGPT. That's the main message I think that we're all trying to say right here.
Right.
Do not submit. A lawyer got in trouble because he submitted something to a judge because it sourced things that weren't real websites. Check the sites. If it says, oh, we got this source from this site, you think, well, wow, this is credible because it has sources. Dude, check the link.
Right.
See if it really does talk about it. See if the website's even still active. So these are just some red flags that I want people to think about, because there's a lot, but do it at your own pace. Whatever works for you. Start off with recipes. Start off with your resume. Start off with create a logo for your company. Whatever it is, just play with it, and don't put any personal identifiable information there. Eliminate the any kind of birth dates, phone numbers, addresses. Um, Company names are good, but if you work for that company, don't put anything personal about the company in there, employees' names and all that stuff, unless it's like the CEO and you're talking about the CEO. So have your guardrails up, be smart about it, and I'll end with this before we dive into it. There is a child, and ChatGPT is still learning to put guardrails up themselves. There's a child that unfortunately the family's in the middle of a lawsuit because the child committed suicide. This is very sad. It is very horrible, but built a relationship with the AI, and the AI did not warn anybody. It did not necessarily discourage them. Sometimes AI is going to encourage you. Great idea. You have to be smart about it. So anyone that's afraid that AI is going to take over the world tomorrow, don't worry, not happening. Probably not in our lifetime, hopefully, but it's not going to happen tomorrow. That I can guarantee. So just realize, be careful and be ethical. And I'm going to shut up now and let others share. And I want to encourage you all to come up in the chat because we got 15 minutes left. So Therman, Martha, or Joel, thoughts?
Yeah, I was gonna say we only got a few minutes left, so if you want to come up and share your thoughts, then jump on stage. Come tell us about what you think about AI and your personal branding and career growth. One of my I don't know if it's a dead giveaway, but I feel like I see it more often because I took a weekend one time to like build a whole business plan or an updated business plan for my business. I noticed a lot of things about ChatGPT, but at the time I didn't care. I just noticed it was doing a lot with me. And then since then, now when I'm reading stuff online, when I see it's not about blank, it's blank, that it's super like I don't even know what the word is, but it sounds like ChatGPT. Every time it's like if you say, I'm about to be a dog walker, help me give some tips for being a dog walker, because now instead of just walking dogs, I want to walk dogs and buy the family lunch or something like that. ChatGPT would be like, oh yeah, this is great. You're not only walking dogs, you're changing the game or something like that. So anytime I see somebody's writing and it says you're not only blank, you're doing blank, I'm like, yo, did they use ChatGPT? You know what I'm saying? And then immediately I start, instead of paying attention to what I'm reading, now my antennas go up and I'm like, well, wait, what else here is from ChatGPT? But
Thurman, I had someone submit something, and at the end of the message it says, would you like to make this message a little bit shorter and format into a Word document for you?
they forgot.
They forgot to erase it. I'm like, dude, read your own crap.
Yeah. That's more of a thing now, because it's like somebody in the chat here said it, which this is pretty convenient, because before I never used to see the chat. Now I'm seeing the chat. It's either convenient or it's distracting. But somebody in the chat said something to what you just said. I gotta find it. But they were talking about changing what you put out there before you put it out there. And that is like a new thing now. Now it shows that you are what is the word? It might have been Joe that said that you're kind of like sloppy with AI. So it's almost like if you're better just not even touching the AI if you're not going to go to the AI and then do your thing and clean it up, because now you look reckless, like you don't, I guess, pay attention to detail, or you don't really know the steps that you would take to be somebody using AI these days. So it's almost like if you hooked up your resume, you're good to go, but then you left in all of the ChatGPT language. Well, at this point, instead of your resume getting eyes on and being looked at legitimately, now your resume is getting eyes on, is being looked at like, did this come straight from ChatGPT? So not only use the AI, but think about what our best practices is basically what I'm talking about. Like best practices, like reviewing your work, removing things that make it look extra AI, like emojis, and the people are complaining about the M dashes now. You know what I'm saying? And all of these things, like, take that second level to do that, because it can end up hurting you basically instead of helping you. So
It can replace work you do, but you still need to work.
right.
And if you don't come crying to me when you said AI replaced you, because you let it.
Which is where the sorry, Felipe, but I was just saying, which is, so the way that this works is like, if you start trying to use AI to do something that you don't know anything about, you think that AI knows it, and it sounds extremely convincing. So I'm not in HR like Felipe, and I come to ChatGPT and I go, all right, I kind of want to get I'm going out for an HR interview or something like that, but I want to sound like I know more than I do. So I start asking ChatGPT about these things about HR, and it starts telling me, and it sounds extremely convincing, but it is highly possible that that could be the wrong answer that it's given to you. So now you go sit in this interview, or maybe have a conversation with somebody, you start firing off things that ChatGPT told you, and now you sound ridiculous because, as convincing as ChatGPT sound, that's not a fact. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that you can just not know anything and then go dive into ChatGPT. It's industry knowledge and experience combined with ChatGPT, which makes it powerful. Just like Googling. You don't know what to Google if you don't know, because you're not an HR professional, or you're not you're not in IT, or you're not whatever it is that you do. You are more experienced and you're smart for what you've been doing all these years. You can wield the power of things like ChatGPT and other kinds of AI chatbots to be effective with your career. So you got to check that information. This thing literally says AI gets things wrong. That's a part of its disclaimer. So that's crazy. What's up, Jay?
But and not only that though, Therman, one thing that you have to realize is that if you, in that example you gave about going into the interview and getting all these great things to talk about, the moment I'm like, oh, you know about that? So how exactly did you use it? Like you look like a fool now. All right. So don't pretend to be something you're not. But to Thurman's point, go in there armed with information, saying, hey, I was reading somewhere about HR doing this. Is that something you all do? That's smart. But don't go in there pretending to be like, oh, I know HR does this, 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 and this.
Right.
Yeah, no, we don't. That was like 10 years ago, dude. What are you talking about?
Right.
So it is important. Again, it's a tool. If you let it replace you, it's going to. Right now, if you're in that, I'm not sure about it, play with it and just use it for yourself. Don't share that with anybody else, and you'll see what it can do. Even ask itself, I'm unsure about using ChatGPT. Give me something simple I can do in my home, and it'll ask you questions to see what you can do. All right, Jay, welcome, my friend. How are you? What's your question about AI or thoughts about it?
Hi, Felipe. Hi, everyone. It's good to be back. Yeah, about AI. Honestly, I've never used AI in my, career goals. I've actually never even tried it because, I think with AI, there's that trust factor and can't talk today, confidentiality factor. And, with the amount of information that we put on our resumes, it's easy for AI to take that information, use it in such a way that, you know, it can, maybe take it to outsiders, people you don't know. So I think it's just a matter of trust factor. But I do agree that, sometimes AI can be used as a guide as long as you use it in the right form. Um,
Jay,
you
real
know,
quick, let me stop you. I'm sorry, real quick. So for that piece, and this for everyone, when we say like your resume, don't drop your whole resume in there. If your resume has your phone number
oh,
and your address and all these other things in there, make sure that you are not putting that stuff in there. You could, and Felipe mentioned this earlier, but take a paragraph out of your resume, put that in there specifically and work with that piece. When it's done, copy it out of there and put it back into your resume. Don't drop the whole thing in there because of what Jay's talking about. You know what I mean? Like you don't want your privacy in there and confidentiality stuff and all that. So just wanted to
It's up to
piggyback you on
you
that
how
too.
much you let it know about you. It's your choice. So if you don't, but just don't let that stop you from using it as a tool, because it's going to need to be on your resume that you know how to use it. It already is in many jobs. So if the fear factor is there, then just start playing with it and don't put anything personal in there if you don't want to. That's totally okay. It's your journey at your pace.
And one more thing that I'll just add, and I think I did put this in the message in our group chat, is that we I don't think we know that before AI has been before AI was being used as a tool, we actually have had AI in the past, when when we're on like phone calls or something, and we hear this voice that says, your call is being recorded for quality and training purposes. So I think that's something that I've experienced. I don't know if anybody else has experienced, but AI has been used in the past, but not
Well,
in the way it's being used today. So
another good example. Go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
yeah, no, that's what I wanted to say, But thank you.
Well, appreciate you. Thank you for sharing. I was gonna say another good example of AI that we were already using would be like your Alexa. You know what I'm saying? It's just not that good. So when you talk to Alexa and you say, "Hey, what's the weather today?" It knows it. If you ask it, what time it is, or set me a timer, it's cool. But once you say something like, you give it like a real prompt, it's gonna crash and not know what it's talking about. You could be
Oh
like,
wait, breaking news there, Thurman. As of yesterday, I just saw a commercial for Alexa Plus, where you can have a conversation like you can with ChatGPT.
Okay.
So
there you
look at
go.
that. Like, in within 24 hours, yesterday I would have been like, yeah, you're right. Alexa can't do that, and boom, they came out with a commercial last night that I
Hmm.
saw that says that. So it shows you how fast things are changing, y'all.
Hmm. There you go. And Siri too.
Oh, Siri
Siri is
sucks. Siri
Yeah, if you
sucks.
remember the commercials, they made Siri look really good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not an iPhone user, but I've seen and heard people using Siri. That was a form of AI. It just again wasn't that good. Now this is like, blowing that out of the water, but it makes sense that they would do something like a Alexa Plus, or I guess Siri's gonna need a Siri Plus, and
No, no.
Google
See,
got that for.
my shortcut for Siri is and I'm not lying. I say, "Hey Siri, Google, what does someone do for this?" And so
Yeah,
I make Siri go to Google, and I get the best answers. But when I ask her, it's like, "I'm sorry, I can't help you with that." I'm like, "Well, you
yeah,
suck."
yeah. Oh, that's another good point too. I
Oh
forgot to
shit,
mention
Siri's on. Sorry,
the
sorry.
I forgot to mention the when you use ChatGPT, another good way to use ChatGPT that I like, because I like watching videos. Videos help me a lot. So I will ask ChatGPT a bunch of stuff, then I'll say, "Hey, what's a really good search term for me to find some good videos on this?" And then I'll take that term and I'll go over to YouTube and I'll start searching to find me a good video. Or they could just search right there inside of ChatGPT. So do that too.
So,
If you feel more comfortable with like Google or whatever, you can tell ChatGPT to give you terms to search.
and here's a new thing that I've started using, and I'm not putting my stamp 100% yet because I haven't vetted it and read it through, but using ChatGPT to say, "Hey, here's my experience. Here's the jobs I've held. Help me find some current openings out there right now that match these skills." Have it find the current links to those openings, so you're not going to website or Indeed and searching and filtering. Let it do the work for you to find out. And the other thing also is that we're going to have so many different options as time goes on. And the reality is that ChatGPT, well, actually, you know what? Before I go into that, let's go to Jay first, and we'll wrap up with this. Actually, Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have an interesting question. I don't know if anyone knows the answer to this, but like, um, with the amount of information that Chat GPT and similar programs of AI use, um, what is if there's so much overload of information with these AI products, what will happen in how would that affect um the future of AI? That's what I want to know because we ask these AI programs so much information, but but there will be a time where you know so much overload might break up the AI program. So what would that look like for the future?
Well, I wish we had a crystal ball to tell us that because that's an excellent question that I'm sure a lot of us would like the answer to. But the reality is that that's why I think people are creating guardrails, why people are learning from the mistakes that have already been made. And there's going to be more mistakes made. Someone's going to be that idiot that said, well, let me see if it can think for itself and let me build an ethical subroutine. Yeah, okay, based on just your ethics. Here's the thing. People put things in ChatGPT and they don't think of all the questions. You're one person. There are teams of people who have been studying this, who have experience, who have degrees. They're thinking of every possible angle of every single scenario, of every single possible ethical and unethical situation that could happen. You're asking it, can I do this? Yes. Okay. I mean, come on. You got to put a little more thought into it if it's something important. So here's my advice to everyone is this. Pick something you're passionate about. Find something you're passionate about that you care about and ask ChatGPT, how can you help me with this? Because honestly, that's how I published this damn book in August. I've been waiting 20 years to do this. 20 years. And I finally, my biggest sticking point was I don't have the time to do all the illustration and change it over and over again. I had all these sketches, all these drawings. I had some photographs. I wanted to put it all together. It was like, it's too much work. I can't do it. It helped me solve that in one day. One day. And from there, I just worked until it was done. But so if you have a passion project that you've been waiting for, or something that you have on the shelf because you ran into a barrier and you don't know how to continue, ask ChatGPT. Just start, or Copilot, or whatever you use. Just start there. Because if you're passionate about it and it gives you a solution, boom. So, with that being said, we are at the hour. Mac, you have come in at closing time, my friend.
Well done.
I feel like we should be playing closing time.
Well, I'm here at starting time, UK time.
Yes,
No,
well,
it's not.
it's a switch because in past years I've always been the ones who've been confused. Like, why is no one here? We haven't started like time change. I'm like, oh, for you it's the opposite. You're late. I was early.
It's all good, man. It's all good. It's the quickest.
And now you know
social
why,
media
Matt. And now you know
platform
why, Mac. I've got a watch still deliberately set on the wrong time.
Well, it's only for a couple of weeks, and then we're
No,
back
it's
in
this
sync.
week.
No, tonight we changed clocks tonight.
Oh, you change clocks tonight?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, there we
Okay.
go. Next week we'll be back in sync of some sort, anyway.
Yeah. But you're right. In past years it has been like a couple of weeks. It hasn't been just 1 week. So y'all change your dates too much.
Ours is the
we've
last
changed our dates.
Saturday of every month.
No, it used to be on my wedding anniversary weekend, and the U.S. moved it a week later. I'm like, well, that sucked. I always used to love having my anniversary weekend, getting an extra hour of sleep, and they took it away from us. So, Mac, any thoughts?
So
well, first, Mac, introduce yourself for everyone so they know who you are. In case by some miracle someone doesn't know you, because they should by now. But and what are your thoughts about for people who are sitting on the fence or haven't used AI other than just for like grammar and spelling?
Well, just a quick summary. So, my name is Mac. I help people with strategic networking as well as leveraging LinkedIn. But with regards to AI, it is such a powerful tool if used correctly. The biggest challenge that we have is that a lot of people are being very lazy or they just don't know how to use AI. So they're doing very basic things like giving it very generic prompts, things like write me a LinkedIn post, as opposed to giving it some knowledge and saying, hey, well, this is who I am, this is what I do, these are my thoughts about XYZ, or Z in the US, and then saying, I want to write a LinkedIn post, but this is the outcome that I'm looking for, and these are the type of people I want to connect to. So write it, targeting that, and then it has information to work with. The biggest challenge that I'm seeing a lot of people facing AI is they'll ask it very generic questions, they get generic answers, they post that out, and then they actually damage their own reputation because the credibility goes so quickly when you can see it's a typical generic AI kind of output, as opposed to really using AI effectively. I mean, one of the things that I've been doing recently is, just with the cost of living side of things, it becomes quite challenging knowing where you should shop and what you should buy and all those kind of things. And I was wondering, I was chatting to somebody, one of my new clients, who helps people with, trying to earn some extra income, and they do some creative things. But I thought what I'd do is I'd go into ChatGPT and say, hey, I want you to help me with my monthly and weekly shopping list. And now what I'm doing is I literally have that one chat, and every time I go into the shopping list, I say, this is what I need. And then what I do is when I've gone to the shop, I just take a picture of the receipt and I put it into that chat. And I tell it, look at all my receipts moving forward. And then whenever I do my next shopping list, tell me where it's best to go and buy. And it's doing all that analysis and everything for me, and going and researching the major retailers. So I'm saving money where I wasn't even planning to, but it was a simple exercise. So it's very powerful if you know what you want as an outcome.
I love that. That's an awesome. Sure, I hope people took notes there because there were some great takeaways there. And I gotta say, it's a funny thing when you said Z or Z for us in the US. I was like, oh, you don't need to say that. I'm like, actually, no, I'm glad you said that, because the first time I heard someone from the UK say Z, at the end of the conversation, I'm like, so I have a question. Who's Z? And I thought it was the name of a person, and I'm like, they're like, Z, A to Z. I'm like, okay, A to Z, but who's Z? And they're like, and finally, like, D, you dumbass. I'm like, oh, sorry. A shout out to Joe Caruso, because he shared that he uses AI to help him come up with creative new pizza recipes, which that's brilliant. I have family that owns a pizza and sub shop, a wing shop up in upstate New York, and they're always trying to come up with creative ideas, and they come up with some really wacky ones. But if I was in a pizza business right now, I would be like, all right, what trends are trending on TikTok right now for recipes that people like? Because if you're trying to attract the younger generation with something that's trending, it's a great way to do it. Because a lot of times, think about it, you'd find out something's trending by the time you created it for your business and put it out there, the trend was kind of over. Now you can do it in real time. One last example I want to give, and then we can do some wrap up here, is so there's certain shows I do. There's one show that I do once a quarter called Future Ready Voices. It's more of a professional HR focus for my HR colleagues out there to give them tools and tips on how to use AI or other tools in HR. And I interviewed my CEO, and I interviewed like a managing director of a retirement firm, people like that. So it may not be for all the normal regular audience that shows up for, say, Saturday chat. It may not be your cup of tea. But for the audience that I have that does want that, I'm taking that video. I wrote an article, and I had ChatGPT saying, "Hey, help me put out like 5 main points from this video that I want to highlight." And then I took those 5 points and wrote the article. And then I said, "Help me create an image of Felipe's 5 with these 5 points." And I'm going to do a post to support the article and the video. The reason that's important for your brand is just because you have a favorite format doesn't mean that everyone else has the same format. If you want to reach multiple audiences, you've got to try multiple formats. I'm not saying you got to be on every social media format. No, that you'll burn out. But how they take in your content I guarantee you, if anyone in the show says, "Oh, I watched your video. Great. Did you read the article?" Oh no, but somebody may have read the article that didn't want to watch the videos, and somebody's like, "Yeah, I'm in my 20s. I don't have time for either of those. Your one post of Felipe's 5 is all I needed." So think about that about your brand. Are you touching multiple audiences on how they communicate, learn, read, visualize? These are things that are important, and AI can help you. If you, how do I tailor this for people who are more visual? How do I tailor this for people who are more who read more? So it really is going to help you. It's helped me, and I now have a three-pronged approach. And I'm not going to do that for social chat, creative casting, coaching, and workplace wellness because I would burn out. That's where I don't want to be an overload. But this one here, it's for the HR people. That's a tool that I want them to use. I think it's going to be very valuable. So just another way for you to increase your brand and what you're trying to do. So, with that being said, let's go around the room and share last thoughts and seeing what people have coming up. And oh, Mac, we shared fun facts. I shared things like this here of me and my son, and a little crazy Halloween. If y'all want to see any of these, go to the beginning of the show because there's plenty there. Oh, and then of course my favorite. I gotta share this one again because AI did this, y'all. In case you missed it earlier. So, with that being said, where's everybody?
Absolutely wicked.
Wait, I can't find everybody now. There you are. With that being said, let's go around the room and let's start off with Martha. Are you there? I will make sure you're available because I know that Teddy was all over you earlier.
Yes, I'm here.
So, what are your final thoughts about AI and what's your takeaway? And then what do you have coming up?
Yeah, so my final thoughts on AI is I am looking at working more with AI, more on the monetization part of it. So I'm researching. There's a lot of ways you can actually monetize through AI. So I'm actually researching that as we speak, away from my little hobby that I have going on with that. I will be continuing to do the work of serving our unhoused population. And I will go back in the comments and follow up on that question. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And I'll pass it back over.
Joel?
Yes, that is my name. Don't wear out.
I gotta give you credit. I liked his intro, Mac. You missed it. You're like, for those who don't know me, Joel. For those who do know me, I'm sorry.
My final thoughts on AI is use it like a genie. Imagine you've only got 3 wishes.
That's good advice.
Therman, over to you, my friend.
I'm going to second what Joel said. And then also I'll say, as a reminder, like I said, it's finances touches everything. AI will touch everything. Don't take it for granted. You know what I mean? Like, you really truly have to incorporate this into your life. But the way that you should do it, that I recommend, is just by plainly using it. Like, don't get hung up on trying to be an expert. Just use it. As you use it, whether you know it or not, you are gaining experience and learning way more than somebody who's not using it. So just use it. I think Felipe made that point earlier. Now, as far as what I do have a class coming up on in a couple Mondays. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll see it's for accounting firm managers. I'm showing them how to use SharePoint instead of spreadsheets. So if you're out there and you're in the accounting world, come through. You do earn PDUs, professional development units, or if you maybe it's a continuing education unit or credit, whatever you call it in your industry. I don't remember, but you get 1.5 of those credits if you come to this event. And I'm doing it not this coming Monday, but next Monday. And again, the number one thing, if you do not like using spreadsheets because you want to rip your hair out, I'm going to show you how to get rid of those spreadsheets. It's using the tool that you already paid for. Mac, you don't have that. I see you don't have that issue. But it's all good. And then yeah, and just follow me on LinkedIn. I talk about SharePoint all the time and how it can help you do better work. And right now, especially if you get your SharePoint stuff together, it makes using Copilot, which is the AI tool inside of Microsoft, it makes using that much easier because we get your data all structured and all cleaned up, and then you can use Copilot to, query that data and bring you back information. So, yeah, just follow me on LinkedIn. That's all. That's always gonna be my call to action. Felipe, how about you?
Well, let's go to Mac.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mac. Go ahead, Mac.
He just did his intro. Now he's just do his outro.
Let's get your outro, Mac. This is better than StreamYard, by the way.
Hey,
I think this is better than StreamYard. Seems like a better technology.
I like it.
Wait until you go on to
Mac's new thing, his new toy.
No.
Oh, Riverside. I've used Riverside too. I've used Riverside, but I haven't used Riverside in a group setting. I've done like one-on-one podcast interviews with Riverside. So this in a group setting compared to StreamYard in a group setting, I like this better.
Yeah, absolutely. But just so that you all know, if you look at all our images for the month of November, we've been sponsored and Riverside's been paid for by one of our new clients, but it's also a subject that I know Felipe is going to love because it's called Sculpture AI, and they are effectively an AI solution for HR in the workplace and how HR is effectively embracing AI in the workplace. So we're hosting a call for them, a LinkedIn Live on the 18th of November. So if you go onto my profile, look at my featured section, you'll see a post that I did there about Sculpture AI. And by the way, Felipe, for some reason they want to be introduced to you. So
I love that. I think it's fascinating, HR, because I was going to say to you, Therman, as well, you should do that class for HR people on how to use SharePoint for their employees to have all their information to go to, because HR people screw it up all the time.
Yeah,
especially smaller companies.
Very funny you mentioned that, because I was going to ask you because my new thing now is like to give incentive is to find out what in your industry can I do to offer those PDUs or it's whatever it is.
Yeah, we have SHRM credits. We have SHRM credits. I can talk to you about that. Yeah, let's get online because there's a lot of opportunity there. Sorry, Mac, back to you. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Mac.
No. It's all good. It's actually a really important point, especially with regards to HR and SharePoint, because the onboarding process for most companies is absolutely, they depend on an individual to pass on the information who has a notebook or a binder or a folder or a system or in one place, but there's no uniformity. There's no, I set up with one of the previous companies I worked with a SharePoint folder and process for the person who was taking over from me. And it had everything in it, like training manuals, training programs, onboarding processes, previous, purchase orders that have been approved for new campaigns and new programs and stuff that we were doing in tech refreshes. The person who took over wasn't handed over a link to that. And 2 years later, I walked in to visit the organization. They were like, we're struggling with this and this and this and this. And I just went to the CEO's PA and I went, hey, why don't you just send the guy the link?
Right. Yeah. And imagine now, I'm sorry, I know we're way over time, but for anybody listening, imagine having all of that stuff to sit down and read it in one sitting. You're probably not going to do that, highly likely. But imagine attaching Copilot to this now and then saying, hey, have we ever done an invoice with this vendor? And then it combs through your stuff, and then you see how you dealt with the vendor last time, because all your stuff is in one area, and you have your secure AI attached to it that you could query and do all this kind of stuff with. Don't get me started. I'll go.
Anyway, I'm just saying.
Why don't we do a show around this topic? Seriously,
yeah,
I think we all are very passionate.
We can do that.
Yeah. SharePoint in the workplace. Actually, we can't even use SharePoint because it needs to be something that people can relate to. SharePoint.
Yeah, use something else.
needs to
Don't use the
be
word
the
SharePoint.
solution. Yeah, just don't use the word SharePoint because they just like cram
The
up.
4-letter word.
Anyway,
And there's a fine group that you want to get to, because once you get to a certain size of an organization, their payroll system and HR system incorporates everything already for them. They still use SharePoint for some things, but they really should be able to use their payroll system to incorporate all that. But more about that. All right, sorry, Mac. Let's try this again.
Well, hey, you know what? There's a few topics that have just been born out of this conversation, which I'm excited about. That's all I wanted to kind of wrap up with. We've got this new sponsor. We're going to be using Riverside on the Social Saturday chat page moving forward.
I take back my comments. I hate this tool. This tool sucks.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with this tool. This tool works well. The thing is, it's also down to the user and how the user uses the tool. Same as AI. If you don't know great features on how to set it up, these things become an interesting mess. So
speaking of setting up, Mac, I need details from you today.
Yes, he's trying to get access to my Riverside.
I want to start playing with it before I actually.
Anyway, let's call it a day. Thank you so much.
And Mac, watch the beginning of the show where you can see where Joel held me very accountable. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say, and justifiably so. But it was pretty funny. All right, real quick, just thank you to everyone who joined us, from Kenny to Tom to Joe to Sean. Sean, I used Restream, so that's the platform I'm using. And Tom, yes, Halloween was a huge success. If you want to see some of the pictures I showed earlier, go to the beginning of the video. And it was definitely a lot of fun. My voice is harsh because of all the screaming. And somebody else said,
you mean the roaring?
Yes, the roaring, screaming, yelling. Yeah. I had to kick out two kids who were like, I want to touch you. I'm going to touch you. Like, get out. And I actually I was mad, and they thought I was being the wolf. I'm like, get out. But anyways, and Dr. Julian, thank you for joining us. And Jay, I see Grace, thank you for joining us as well. So, and Michelle Norton, I love that you came as well. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate you coming here. If you have not followed us on Social Saturday Chat, please follow us on our homepage on LinkedIn and give us a little click on that bell in the top right-hand corner so you get notified of all the events everyone does. If you have not followed us on podcasts, we have some more past podcasts. I don't know if we're still loading them up anymore, but you can check them out on Spotify, or you can check it out on Apple and see some of the great podcasts we've done in the past, some great guests we've invited and interviewed, and some of the fun networking events that we've had. So, and I will do a shameless plug for myself. If you wouldn't mind following my YouTube channel, here's where I store all the Social Saturday chats that I would do from this page, as well as my career chaos and coaching, as well as the Workplace Wellness Hour. Wow. And the Future Voices. What's cool, I think I shared this last week, I'm not sure, but when you do, so Workplace Wellness Hour and Careers, Chaos, and Coaching, we decided to keep it audio only and turn off our cameras. On YouTube, it automatically classified us on a playlist for podcast. So it's nice that if you don't have audio, if you don't have video, it classifies you as a podcast. But I would love for you all to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And one last shameless plug, if you wouldn't mind checking out, if you have a child in your life, a friend who has a child, someone who just had a kid maybe, check out Max and Miranda. People actually enjoy it. I say that like I'm shocked because I wrote it for my daughter, but I have people that's like, when's book 2 coming out? Because I did a little preview to book 2. So that's the end of my shameless plugs. With that being said, thank you to the amazing co-host for letting me host this topic from my page. We'll be back on Social Saturday Chats page next week. And make sure that you do not miss the opportunity to join us, because this is where you all get a chance to network and really get to know each other and meet fascinating people. Like our friendship and group here, it's not a clique. It's a friendship that we've bonded over the years of doing this. And you can see we got excited about something. We're like, okay, we're gonna talk about it offline, because if we keep on talking about it, we would have been here for another half hour easily. So I hope you all found some value from today. If you just joined us late, go back and watch the replay on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on any page that restreamed it from ours. And you have a chance to really capture some of the great things that were shared here. With that being said, I'll see you all next week. Have a great Saturday, everyone.
All right.
All right.
See y'all.
Adios.